Hello, my name is James Veseskis, and I'm here to talk to you about recruiting strategies for your computer science class. I'm a computer science teacher at Hartford Magnet Trinity College Academy. I'm a master teacher for mobile CSP, and I'm also the lead facilitator for exploring computer science in the state of Connecticut. This all started back in 2013 when I first learned mobile CSP and started teaching computer science. I had 12 students. They were all just thrown into the class. There were 12 boys. 10 of them were white, one was Asian, and one was African American. Class went well that year, but we just had to improve the demographic. So I went to various seminars and learned how to include more students. And that's what I'm here to share with you today. As of this year, I had 203 students sign up for all my computer science courses. So it's been fairly successful. And you just have to realize in that first year it's going to be tough because you and the students don't have an idea of what computer science really is. So it's hard for people to really sign up for something they're not sure of yet. So I'm going to give you some strategies to recruit students in that first year, but that second year is going to get a lot easier for you once everybody's kind of familiar with what it's all about. So the first thing you need to do is have coffee with your counselors. I included a counselors for computing kit here. Have one mailed to you and your counselors. And then once it arrives, buy them some coffee and sit down and go through the packet and talk recruitment strategies. I asked Hartford counselors one year at a seminar, how many of them have degrees in science? Only one raised their hand for the entire city, and she was the lead counselor for the city. So this kit will give the counselors some of the tools and information they need to help guide kids toward careers in computing. I would also discuss equity issues with the counselors. For far too long, computer science has been only for 15 students in the school. This needs to change. Every student should be taking computer science. Tell your counselors, you want kids with special needs. You want kids who don't normally do well in a regular education setting. You want girls, you want underrepresented minority, you want everybody. All of them need to take a computer science course. This is the biggest one for me. Talking to students directly, especially young ladies and underrepresented minorities. They're not too sure sometimes about taking computer science. So if you come up to them and just talk to them, they're more likely to take it. I always get students by saying, hey, did you take a bite of chocolate chip cookie first? Or did you just refuse? You tried to take a bite first. So that usually works and gets them to, sign up for the courses. I also talk to special ed teachers. Special ed students do well in computer science. I think the programming part of it is so objective that they do well versus like an English or social studies class where it's really subjective. So have those kids sign up. I have one student this year with autism. They're doing really well in the class, and I had another student pass the test last year, the AP test. So students with special needs can take this class. I also included a link here for CS for All, which will also give you some ideas for other ways to recruit students. And I included another little video here that will help you include students with disabilities in your computer science course. But that will come with training. The next slide. This one really worked for me in my first couple of years. I went to teachers and said, hey, let me, on my prep period, let me come into your class and present about computer science. This was always done right before, class signups. So I go in, and here's one little presentation that I do. You find your own style with it. You got to find out what works for you. I'm a little bit zany and crazy. I have pizza pumping and programming showcases and stuff like that, but you do what works for you. Well, this just gives you an idea. I always start off with, what's a computer? Most adults can't even answer that question. Are the internet and the World Wide Web the same thing? The answer is no, but why? So students realize really quickly within the first minute that even though they think they know about that device, that they're kind of scrolling through as they're listening to me in this presentation, that they really don't. So then it just has some various other facts on why students should take computer science in their careers and life and jobs and all that. So, and I also included code.org stats here for you too, if you want to develop your own. Computer Science Ed Week. This is in the second week of December, and this is a very important one. This is like the PR campaign run by code.org. I started in the first year just going to English classes during that first week and taking them over and running the hour code and offering prizes. And the English teachers would be like, wow, I never seen, I'll make up a name, Hector, sit through an entire class like that and do that. So now every year I have teachers throughout the building actually volunteer and actually compete to see who's going to run the hour code. So it's a good way to, get kids a little bit of an idea of what coding's like. Another thing I do is I'll send a personal invite email. If they have my class and think they can do well in the AP class, I'll send them an email, a personal touch. I also do some other activities that engage students in computer science. I go down to the computer center we have, the student center we have in the morning, and I'll do something called the Hot Pepper Challenge. It's a rigged algorithm. I learned it from The Secret Life of Algorithms. I'm not sure if it's still on Netflix. But it's an algorithm, and I explain it to them afterwards. But I get them to eat the hot pepper, and it's a big thing in the student center in the morning, and everybody's all around it, and it's like, wow. So it gets kids to say, hey, who's that guy? What is he doing these zany things for? Guess a number between 1 and 100 and 7 guesses, shorting challenges. I have robot races in the morning and stuff. Just various little things that can be done in 15, 20 minutes. I get the kids involved. And recruiting, who's that guy? Oh, Veseskis. Yeah, we got to sign up for his class. It looks like fun. Talk computer science at PTOs and other events where parents go. Yes, I bring students. I do it myself. I'll make an app. Once you learn App Inventor, I'll do a raffle app and I'll raffle off prizes within 10 minutes. I'll build an app in 10 minutes and parents go, wow. And then they sometimes pressure their students to take it, their sons and daughters to take it. So now we're getting into the second year. So after you started, maybe get your first Korean kids start making apps, you keep them and you start showing them off to students. I always display them. I also have student representatives now after, so many years of building this. I have my high school students do all the recruiting and training for me in the middle school. This young lady won the Aspire Award from NC WIT, and each year they gave her $3,000 to train middle school girls throughout the city. So not only is she building a resume for college, but she's also helping me out because students listen to other students and their peers. So this was a great recruiting tool. Showcase student apps. I open, at open houses, technology showcases. This is where I do the pizza, puppy, and programming. If I got to be there, I'm hungry, so I bring the pizza and have everybody stop. Everybody always stops for puppies, so they stop and then they get to look at the kids' work. I learned that actually from another teacher in Florida. So it does work. It really did. So I would showcase your student apps. This young lady, let me go back. This young lady, and one of the young ladies in this picture, she actually dropped my class the first day. And, went to go sign up for another class. Couldn't find one. I guess it was an economics class. She didn't really like that. She came back in. She wasn't too happy about it. It was a little bit difficult until we got to building her own app and her own project. She made a personal connection to her life. A family member died in a drug-related incident, and she created an app that was actually endorsed by the Hartford Police Department, and it was a semifinalist in the Worldwide Technovation Challenge. She later went on and changed her capstone project here in Connecticut to be Women in Information Technology, her senior thesis paper. And she now minors in computer science. She wants to work on criminal justice, but also sees, computer science as a possible avenue. So students showcase in apps and making connections. I often tell students it's not, don't think about what job you want, but what problems you want to solve. And if you think about what problems you want to solve, that will help you lead you to your career. Here's a student showcase app. It's a minute app. We're going to leave you the PowerPoint where you can go and see, here's an app that students made with the Connecticut Science Center. Running coding activities for younger students. My older students, we go to suburbia and take over for the hour code the elementary schools and teach them to code. And the older students really like this. They take responsibility. They go into the classroom, they design it, they run it, and they do it with the kids. So it's another way to help build computer science in your school because they take an active interest, especially when they're teaching younger kids. App competitions. Now, app competitions can be really great and really get your school notoriety, but also at the same time, it shouldn't be the entire focus of your class because some students in the interest of equity are not interested in competition. That might turn them off. So be aware of that and don't make everything about a competition all the time. This first one, the aspiration of computing, really helped me with the young ladies. This one is an award for young ladies. And my second year, I only had one girl, and she was African American in my AP class. Still not doing well in that second year. But I had her sign up for the Aspirations in Computing Award. And it's just that they have to write an essay. They send you a recommendation link. You write a recommendation form, and they get picked. So she was a local winner. She's won 3 years in a row, and she was actually a national runner-up in her senior year this year. So with that, they give you awards, actually give trophies to the school. I actually have my own trophy case now for computer science at my school. Yes, my own trophy case. So yes, that's one way to build. And because of that, now I have a 50-50 demographic of male and female in my class, all from that first young lady taking that first chance. And there's a Congressional App Challenge here, which is when the first year my students here won that for the district for Elizabeth Esty. And then there's a Technology Challenge, which I talked about earlier. So inviting classrooms that don't showcase computing stereotypes. Yes, I know. I'm a Trekkie and I like all the Star Wars and all that type of stuff. Don't put them up in your classroom. I try to keep everything neutral. I show computing careers from all walks of life, and that's pretty much how I do it. Try to make it friendly toward everybody, just not one demographic of people. You can get posters everywhere from NCWIC, code.org. There's a lot of free places to get posters online. Okay, and then the last thing I've done is I developed a club or introduction to computer science. I brought exploring computer science to my school because teaching the AP class, I realized students weren't, still signing up because they never had computing classes before. And who's going to take an AP class? So since I've done that, students, if they're doing well, I say, hey, take the AP course, but I don't even have to do that anymore because if they're doing well in this course, they most times take the AP course later on. So those are just some strategies that I hope help get you started for recruiting, and I'm looking forward to meeting some of you this summer as we take this journey into computer science.